Welcome everybody back to My Life, My Journey podcast, and on this week's episode we have my friend Luke Morris, who has joined us again. There's a bit of a role reversal within this episode where Luke is the interviewer interviewing me and asking about my life since he last saw me at school. So please sit back and relax and get ready to listen or watch this episode. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share and review. Let's get into this. This podcast isn't to be used to act as a substitute for mental health counselling, and I am not a therapist in any way, shape or form. I'm just here giving you ways in which I dealt with my mental health. Welcome everybody. We're back. I've got my boy here, Luke, joining me as always. Well, not as always, but second time anyway, so you might see more of him hopefully.
Two.
Pardon, say that again?
2 in 2 weeks.
I know.
Or is it 3 weeks? Something like that. But yeah, it's good.
So we're going to do things differently this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do a role reversal where Luke's going to actually ask me a few questions. If you listen to the last episode with Luke on there, he did want to know about where I'd been for the last since we last saw each other at 16 years old. We found out about Luke's life, what he's been up to. There is a bit of a request, Luke, as well. My cousin in the army said it's not actually 12 weeks training, it's actually 6 months for the infantry.
Makes no difference. They're cannon fodder at the end of the day.
I'm not said nothing, man.
They're really army.
Cannon fodder. So, yeah, we're going to be doing a bit of a role reversal today. Oh, there's a light up there. So I'm in my son's room at the moment, and I'm just wondering. Don't think it makes a difference, does it, really? No? I've got a big, massive soft box here anyway on my right-hand side, so that's lighting up this side, but this side's in shadow, so I look a bit like Two-Face out of is it Spider-Man? Joker? Batman? Can't remember now.
Get it right.
Mate, it's been one of them weeks, honestly. So I spoke to you, didn't I, about this CBT assessment that I was going to have.
Yeah.
I'll retell it for the listeners so you can understand what's going on. So I had my first CBT assessment on Tuesday, just gone. And all of those suppressed memories that had been locked away, put away in the back of the closet, had all come to the forefront of my mind due to this lady was asking me the right questions, but the types of questions that I didn't really want to answer, but I was forced to answer because she needs to make an assessment of where I grade. Long story short, I'm moderate to high risk, so I will be getting some counselling soon, hopefully. No idea where or when or what type, because they've not actually diagnosed me with anything. So hopefully that will come back with something, so we can get into a program and hopefully get better. Yay! Great, wicked. Yeah. So yeah, I've had a week off the gym because of what happened. It's took me 2 days to get over explaining this to this lady, because it is hard. Anybody out there, if you're speaking about what's gone on in your past and you're trying to get the help, that first initial talk is perhaps one of the hardest things to come to terms with, because when you say something out loud, it then becomes real. It sits inside your head deep within, and it just makes it real at the end of the day. Don't know if you've ever had any of that. Let me just put my teeth back in. I don't know if you've had any of that, Luke.
You're doing well, mate. Is this because it's getting switched round? You're trying to mess up early so you can go, I just don't know what's going on.
Well, I'll be honest with you. You might get some weird answers because, yes, I know, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I'm having a beer. And the reason why I'm having a Foster's, for anyone moans, I went to see Ricky Gervais last night at Wembley, and he was drinking Foster's, as he always does. So it turned me onto it. And I thought, you know what, I've had a crap week. I've only been gym once this week, so I'm going to go next week. Fresh start, fresh me, and we'll get going. But other than that, yeah, sorry to jump in on you there, Luke. Have you...
Are you good? Honestly, I don't think I've had anything like that. Mainly because I don't really think I've ever been at that point where I thought, let's go get this checked. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll probably have got something. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can get irritated and annoyed, frustrated like that sometimes, but I normally sit there and I normally put that down to being stressed out from work or stuff like that. But I imagine if I put a finger on it, it'd probably be down to the same kind of thing as you, suppressed memories from growing up and stuff like that, things that I've never really thought about or pushed to the back of my mind and decided, right, I'm not going to think about that. It's too painful to deal with. It's too much of a stressor to be dealing with right now. So then push it further back and just keep forgetting about it on and on and on. And obviously just keeps nagging and irritating you, but you don't do anything about it.
How about when you had the 4 months off from the prison service due to what you saw? Did you have your initial talk about that? Or did...
Yeah, so don't get me wrong, the prison service is really good with stuff like that. They've got their own occupational health team. In touch with counsellors and stuff like that, which was fantastic. Then, talk about what it is that I'd seen, what it was that triggered me to be like, no, I can't go back in and stuff like that. And I got that. I think I was on 2 sessions a week. And then obviously slowly it went down as I got more and more and spoke through it more.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks before I went back to work, it's like a 10-minute phone call just to check up on how I was doing.
And what do you do for your healthy coping strategies? Have you got any of those healthy coping strategies that you live by today?
Play football.
So yeah, just keep
Brilliant.
Yeah,
I play football a couple of times a week still, and literally, that's just my way of de-stressing.
Yeah, what is that with? That with the prison or local Sunday league, Saturday league team, or
no? Just like 8-a-side, kick around on a Monday and a Wednesday with most of the same lads. Nice. Just hire a pitch out and have an hour's kick around on a Monday, Wednesday night.
Yeah, fair enough. We used to do that on Thursdays. Yeah, we used to drive out. It was quite good actually. 5-a-side though almost killed me. We was playing up Littleworth and Piper. Matty Piper's dad. He's reffing up there and he's like, get up, will you? I need water. You're wrecked, mate.
Yeah, it kills you. You're literally just sprinting.
You are continuously sprinting.
You're literally just...
Talking about football, have you managed to sit down yet and watch any of the David Beckham documentary on Netflix?
I'm on episode 1. I'm about 2/3 of the way through the first session.
No, cool. Episode. So you ain't going to sell out anything to me. Yeah, I've just literally done the first episode. I'm going to watch the second tonight with the missus.
So I'm literally just up to the bit where they're saying, oh, this is like the first pictures of Posh and Bex together. That's literally where I'm up to.
Yeah. No, I won't say any more. It's actually brilliant. It's actually opened my eyes a little bit to Posh and Bex, and I've got a lot more respect for Beckham than I had. I already had respect for him anyway, but I'm saying I've got a lot more now from listening to that documentary. There's a lot of stuff that's gone into that. I don't know if you're at the bit where Hoddle. No, I won't say anything else, but to the listeners out there, if you've watched it, you'll understand what I'm saying about the Hoddle thing. It's a bit shit. Sorry about my language. What am I saying? Sorry about my language. It's my podcast. I can say what I want. I can say what I want.
Still caring.
Yeah, always do, mate. I'm always thinking that. But you know what? I've got to turn the switch off and say, nah, not anymore, mate. Not anymore. Anyway, so yeah, we're doing a role reversal today. Where Luke's going to be asking me seeing what happened, where I went, how I got on, America, all of that kind of stuff, and the bloke I am today, which is a very handsome boy.
What's that? I've got to go. Sorry.
Yeah, missing tooth and all, you know what I mean, bro? So
get them fixed if you go to.
And I'm actually looking at getting it fixed. I might get a gold tooth put in there, you know what I mean? What am I? Just a brown thing and black thing to do, isn't it? I suppose I've got to get the old diamond grills in there.
Got it. Just go completely different and get a pearl.
Ooh, yeah. I wonder if I can get the Bible scripture wrote on a tooth all the way around. There was a bloke years ago, weren't he? Wrote it on rice.
Not all of it. You might be able to get a bit.
Well, I don't know. There's a guy back in the day. Yeah, he used to write the whole Bible on a grain of rice, and I still don't know how to this day that he did it.
I'd probably just pick, your favourite bit of scripture.
Yeah. I don't know a lot of scriptures.
Ollie, no matter what, even if you're religious or not, there will always be a small snippet in there that will resonate
Yeah, I
with
think
you.
a lot of it will resonate with me, to be fair. I mean, I'm trying to learn about it. I want to understand it. The older I'm getting, the more interested I am in it. I think it's because I'm getting closer to that time, and it's like, I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy.
Where do I want to go?
I definitely don't want to go to Hull. If you know what I'm saying.
I mean, it's warm. It is warm.
Yeah. Well, Hull or hell, both the same thing. Go on then, Mr. Interviewer. What you got for me, boy? What you got?
Cool. Okay, so obviously since the last one, we all knew we went to school together. Last I saw of you was 16, and obviously I went my way. And then from there, it's a blank right up until a few weeks ago when you popped up on my Facebook Messenger. So where have you been for 22 years?
Be honest with you, I might have been in prison. No.
I thought so. You look
good. No. So I left school. Didn't really get the grades that I wanted because of my brothers kept getting kicked out of school due to fighting and whatnot. So we ended up moving around. I counted the other day. I went to 17 different schools in my lifetime. Yeah, that's a lot. Put it this way, during GCSEs, I'd gone through learning Romeo and Juliet and Macbeth. You see where I'm coming from here now, right? So straight down the middle of your GCSEs, I'm learning two different things. Which is hard on any 15, 16-year-old when you've got to try and do that. You've got to try and put yourself into a new school. You've got to try and make sure that you are, well, as you know, at Willie B, I was quite racially abused quite a lot all the time. Although I was quite popular with the ladies. But that always seems to happen because I sing.
We must have different memories of high school.
What's your memory then? I want to crack this open. I've had enough of this.
I don't even remember a woman talking to you.
Really? Mate, you're mad.
No, you did.
Mate, you're mad. I know that's... Yeah.
Yeah, because you could sing, they kept coming and talking to you.
Yeah. I had a lot of female attention. Even in Wigo, my first day in the lunch line, literally I've been there for 2 hours and a girl asked me out. And then on the way home on the bus, another girl asked me out. It just kept happening and happening. That was school life. But yeah, so no, I continued with that, with singing and MCing, or rapping as you like to call it, bit of rapping. But then I went to college. So I got out of school, got my grades, and I thought, you know what, I need to do something. Need a plan B. So my plan B was, I like computers. I like to build PCs and whatnots and work on motherboards, IDE drives, SCSI cards, whatever. I just like building PCs and mucking around with technology, which I think was down to my dad, because my dad, every time when I was little, I used to see my dad fixing and repairing TVs or VCRs and cleaning the heads on them and stuff. And I'm talking the big TVs where they had the big, massive glass tube at the back of it, that kind of thing. So as a kid, I was always watching around that kind of thing, and it just interests me. So I decided to go to college, do an ICT course, got a GMVQ BTEC. I got a distinction in the whole course, did really well, passed it with flying colours. But at the same time as doing that, I was also doing a car mechanic course where I was doing engine repair, and then on part B was bodywork and damage. So I got taught how to weld, how to spot weld, how to repair dents, how to respray cars, and all that kind of thing. And the final exam, which was quite cool, was it's basically a process of elimination. So you'd look at the car and the teacher would say to us, right, Jermaine, this is your final exam. You've got 1 hour, 30 minutes to pass this exam. I have taken something off this Ford Fiesta. It won't start. You now need to work through the processes of elimination to find out what part's missing, reconnect, start the engine before the time's out. I passed that. All it was the HT lead. I plugged the HT lead on. Jermaine, thank you very much. 40 minutes I passed that test. It took me a while to get around because you've got to look at all the ignition coil, the starter motor.
You got to go.
Yeah, you've got to go for everything. So I passed that. The same time as that, I started at a sock factory, which we've spoke about during 9/11. And I was in this sock factory packing socks because at college I got EMA, Educational Maintenance Allowance, was a little bit of money because my mum never worked or anything like that. We was on benefits, social, whatever you want to call it. It was never a well-off family. We've just never been a well-off family. So I started to work part-time to get a bit of money to help myself buy college books. I got a bus pass for free. I had to apply for that. So yeah, that was that. That was basically the first time into school life, so to speak, in college. Then we just started buying motorbikes and BMXs and whatnots and just going around like the local rallies or the local BMX parks. And we were involved in everything, mate. You name it, we was involved in it. We was going all over the city, wherever. We used to go through the shires on our BMXs and let the security guard chase us because it was a bit of fun as kids, you know. We'd get down the escalators on our bikes, jumping, you can't catch us, sticking your fingers up, nicking his keys off his side, and that's you can get upstairs up into all the locked doors and that. It was fun. Obviously, you're looking back now. I don't regret any of it because I think it gave me experience. It was life experience as a kid. It was almost a little bit like a Stand By Me movie where you got these guys walking down that railway track to go see a dead body. That was basically us lot. We just had each other's backs. Because obviously I moved back to Leicester, back to where we was from because of the way Barwell was back then. I can't say anything about Barwell now because I've not been there for so long, so I don't know if it's changed in its ways or not. But back then, I think it was only me, my family, and one other lad that was of this colour. So, yeah, so we went back anyway. And then I went through a rough time, which I won't speak about on it. I'll be honest with you, Luke. I won't speak about it on it.
That's fine. I'll ring you tomorrow. Good chat.
Yeah. I'd rather do that one personal. No disrespect to the listeners. I won't like that. There's some things.
In 2 weeks, if you're free, I'll drive up there for a day.
Or I'll drive down to you, whichever.
Either or.
So I ended up going to America because I wanted to face my dad as a man. I wanted to see why he treated me the way he does as a kid. Why it is.
So, were you 18 at this point, or was this a bit older?
I was. Well,
so you finished college. In college, you're probably 18 when you finished college. So did you go straight after that, or?
So I was there for the summer of 2006. I left school in 2001. Left college in 2002. Between that time, obviously, things had happened and changed. Not anything bad. I've not been in trouble or anything like that. I've got a clean record and whatnot. So it's not anything.
So you were like 21 when you went America?
Yeah. Yeah, it was 26, 2006, 26 to 06.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So 21.
So I was 21. Yeah, I was old enough to drink. Yes. Yeah, because I had a beer out there. Right. So I booked this plane and get my mum to take us down. Really funny story, actually, Luke. Right. So I booked this plane. At the time, I was working at WR Refrigeration. So I was working with these engineers. So like your Tesco's, your Asda's, your Aldi, whoever's got a freezer in the big supermarkets, when they break down, I would then... I didn't fix it because I weren't an engineer. But I would call the engineers and say, look, mate, can you go over to such and such? It could be all over, nationwide. Even in Ireland, we had engineers all over the place. I was basically on a self-employed basis kind of thing. We'd call them, go over there, mate, go and fix that one. Call us back with your invoice and whatnot, and we'll pay you and get you cleared out and get you squared up. And I got on really well there. I was on the way to becoming a customer service manager. I love customer service. That was my job. Leaving college, I fit in well. Didn't really want to do mechanics, even though I've got the qualification. I just didn't want to work out in the cold, getting cut up hands, oil all over my place. Or, it's just, I wanted ICT. I went for an ICT job, and everywhere I went with connections or whatever, they just kept telling me, oh, sorry, mate, we need a school leaver. You're too overqualified. because I wanted to do systems analysis. Now, systems analysis, at 18 years old, I was going to be offered around about 56k a year back then. So talking 2002. Because systems analysis is one of the top jobs that you could get in computing. Now, obviously, it's cyber, hacking and stuff like that. So threats to the computers and whatnot and to businesses. But no, so I've lost my train of thought here, mate. Rewind to me. What?
I'll tell you what, you're on a funny story. You were looking at getting an ICT job because you didn't want to do motor mechanics because you get all greasy, and your mum was taking you to the airport because you was on your way to see your dad.
There it is, the airport journey. So I go to my building society and I wipe it out. Every last penny of my cash I take out of the bank at 18. I had quite a lot saved up actually because obviously I was living at home with mum. I had a car, I had a motorbike, I had my little Gilera Runner 125 that I'd whip around on, and then I had my car, my first car. I bought it myself as well. So, yeah, I withdraw all of my life savings, the whole lot, just to go to America and face my dad. And
yeah,
my mum says, I'll take you. We'll take you down to Stansted Airport. I went, yeah, sorted. All right, then. We've got to be up 3 o'clock in the morning. Got on my flight, takes off 5 o'clock. Got to go. We get down there. For some reason, Luke, my mum ends up on the M25. Yeah. No, wrong. Pissing it down in rain.
Oh.
And we spin out in the rain. Yeah. Thought we was going to die.
Okay. Yeah, I can see why.
My grandma's in the passenger seat. I'm in the back. No, I'm in the front. My nan's in the back. My mum's in the back.
Mm.
And I say, Mum, what are we doing down here? We needed the A14, A1, M11. They're Stansted.
Yeah.
We obviously arrived late, Luke. I missed my plane. Okay. Now, I'll be honest with you. Big shout out to Delta Airlines here because they didn't charge me for a rebooking for the next day. They looked after me. However, I was Tom Hanks for a day, i.e. the terminal.
Yeah, the terminal.
That was quite literally me. I was there for the whole day. And it got to a point in time. Well, gone a bit too quick there. So as I've walked into there to get my tickets changed over for tomorrow, because I'm late, my mum runs in, Jermaine, I've got to pay a fine. What? Yeah, my tyre's bowled. So the police ain't letting me leave this drop-off bit until they get a replacement tyre, and I've got no money with me. I had to give her some of my money that I was taking with me to America. I literally got all my life savings, and I'm like, this is fucking great. Like, there you go. No wonder we span out, nearly died. You're driving on a bowl tyre. Fair play, you, yeah? One of them.
Love it.
You couldn't write it, mate, honestly, right? So, yeah, I'm Tom Hanks for a day down at Stansted, and it gets a bit late, and I'm trying to hold on to my luggage because at this time, the 9/11 thing's been, everyone has to take the socks off, the shoes off, going through check-in, and people are asking, did you pack the bags yourself? So I literally hugging my case, and I was falling asleep and whatnot, getting drowsy, and I thought, I can't do this. I had to ring up a taxi to take me over to the hotel on site at Stansted so I could basically pay for the night and sleep there. Told the receptionist, can you give me a wake-up call, please? I've got to get on this flight tomorrow. 150 quid. Literally, within a day, I'd already spent nearly £400 on my mother and a hotel. Bad start. I mean, don't get me wrong, my life savings wasn't that much neither, mate, if I'm being honest with you, because I bought the car and the motorbike, and I love my clothes, I love going out, going abroad and whatnot. So I literally ended up left with me around about £3,500, right, which gave me around about $7,000. So it was still okay. I'm still okay.
Yeah.
And I just remember getting on this plane, and I've never seen a plane like it, Luke, right? I had 4 seats to myself, mate, right? And I looked to the left, and the whole plane's empty. Like, everywhere's empty on this plane. I'm thinking, we're going to America. Surely this should be rammed. No, mate, I was the only one in my section of the plane. My legs were up. I was chilling. The woman kept coming around every hour. Hey there, would you like some Twinkie bars? We're going to get you some juice. What would you like? And I was like, man, this is amazing. You just keep feeding me and feeding me and feeding me. I'm loving this. And the first thing I remembered was it smelled like popcorn. The plane smelled like popcorn. For some weird reason, it was just It had like an American smell. I've never smelt it anywhere in this world other than on that aeroplane. And when I landed in America, it had the same sweet smell. Have you ever had that? Because you've obviously been to America. What else?
No, I can't say I've ever experienced that. Popcorn and no, never. Just you.
Just me. But yeah, even that was a bit of a funny one, mate. So we land in Cincinnati, and the police obviously want to know why I'm staying there for such a long time.
Yeah.
I had to explain everything to him, give him my dad's number. My dad's then said, yes, he's staying with us. I ended up missing my plane from Cincinnati to Kalamazoo. Right. It's going so well for me, isn't it, mate? Honestly, right. So I've missed the plane. I told the guy, because I was going through my suitcase, I was checking all my letters, like my good luck letters and all of that, and my cards from my work. I said, what are you checking for? What's going on? We got to check for anthrax, drugs. I went, what? I said, I'm a young guy, mate. What's going on here? Come on, really? Let me just go. I've missed my plane now. What are you going to do about it? Don't worry, man. We'll put you on another flight. All right, great, thanks. Sorry about my American accent, by the way. So,
please keep going.
So, I actually get on this little plane. It's a little charter plane. It's that small, Luke. I can see the pilot. Right, this is like a 15-seater. Yeah, little tiny plane. I don't know what it was called, but it was tiny. Had about 15 seats, and I was sat next to this South African university lecturer. Really, really intelligent person. That's me. And I'm having a chat, and then I look behind me, and I'm like, kind of thing. Like, I'm looking back at myself, thinking, it's P Diddy. It's P Diddy sat on the back of the plane, and I'm like, what's going on? 2 bouncers. P Diddy sat in the middle. So anyway, I've not landed the plane myself, obviously, but we've landed in Kalamazoo Airport in Michigan. And my dad's there at arrivals, right? And instead of me going, hi, Dad, I'm finally here, it was, yo, Dad, was that P. Diddy back there? He went, yes, son, he's got a show in Detroit later on. So I got to see P. Diddy, mate. But I was too frit to tell him, can I have your autograph? I just sort of stayed silent. You know, I remember that. You know, it was one of them things. And my dad saw me, mate, and cried in my arms straight away. Gave me a cuddle and cried in his arms. And then took me to a place called Taco Bell's. Loved it. Great food, mate. Great food. Absolutely loved it. Spent a bit of time with my dad, mate, getting to know him. Had my first beer with him. Obviously, I've not seen him. Well, we left when I was 6 years old. So I had my first beer with him in this bar. And I'm telling you right now, Luke, hand on my heart, me and my dad drank the Americans under the table. Our beer must be stronger.
Yeah, they can't drink.
Our beer must be a lot stronger.
They can't.
Yeah, there was on like Bud Lights. And I'm like, mate, it's like 4%. What's going on, mate? To me and my dad's are like, let's get the Jaeger bombs out.
Thinking 4% when you're like 14, 15.
Yeah. So I couldn't believe it. So everyone's like, how do you English? I'm like, mate, I'm just drinking, you know. So yeah, I think Belgian beer, but they're really nice people. I love America. I love American people. Where I live, Luke, was actually around the corner from a place called Leonidas, and you can research this, Leonidas. Vernon Troy lived there, which is Mini-Me. You know Mini-Me?
Yeah.
The films. Rest in peace, Mini-Me. Obviously, he's passed away now. But yeah, we live around the corner from him, mate. Yeah, it was Amish County where we lived, full of Amish people on their horse and carts and stuff like that, and it was really pleasant people. Yeah, lovely, mate. So,
did you take anything from them? Did you learn to build anything?
No, I wasn't allowed to get too close, mate. If you get too close, apparently you might end up marrying one of the daughters and inherit a farm or something. If it happens, brilliant. But you're not allowed TV.
Just saying, it'd probably be worth a fortune.
Perhaps,
now.
But I'd have no TV, no electricity because they don't allow it. It's the work of the devil or something like that. So I respect their thing. So obviously, I wanted to take pictures, but I just thought, you know what, I don't want to take a picture because they obviously might offend them.
No, they don't mind pictures, I don't think. They've had documentaries made about them and all stuff like that, haven't they? So
I'm not sure. I wouldn't like to comment. I don't know. I'm just going off from what was there. But
no, I think I saw one the other week. A couple of months ago, they did an Amish documentary, but yeah, it is a bit odd.
Yeah. Nice people,
But
though, the way that they come together in the community. It's just different, isn't it? And a lot of the time, people are scared of what's different. You know, it's just a way of life, I suppose. But no, I just got on with everybody when I was around there. The snow was amazing. It was like, come up to like my hips, the snow did. I jumped out off the porch every day, you know, and just jumped straight into the snow. I literally looked like Hanky Panky, the Christmas log, you know what I mean? Just laying there this time. Chocolate dropping. But yeah, I went into an American police car. Yeah, I got friendly with him and I says, "Oh, can I have a look?" And he's got his laptop in there. He's got a cage that runs across the back seats, and I can get through. And it's amazing, mate. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, they have the laptop to check all the cars and everything like that, don't they? And suspects and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was an Impala. It was an amazing car, mate. Impala, yeah, really good. But I actually went through
what
there
did you
the
do?
other day. What did I do over there? I'll be honest with you.
How long were you there for?
Ooh, I come back. I think we worked out it was about 4 months in total. I come back because of the reason why I can't speak on here about. Something else happened and said that I can come back or whatever and speak to said person. But yeah, that didn't work out. It was all lies. But there we go. So yeah, I come back. Spoke to my cousin about getting work because obviously I'd left my job to come over to America. You know, I'd left my job. They offered me the job back there, but it just didn't feel the same because it had changed hands, new management, whatever. And I just thought, you know what, just a fresh start. Why not? Yeah. So I ended up working with my cousin at a local supermarket here at Tesco's, and that's how I met Kay, met my partner. And we've been together ever since for 16 years in January, and 3 kids, a dog, 3 guinea pigs.
Engaged yet?
Yeah, we've been engaged for quite a while, mate, to be honest with you. The minute we found out she was pregnant, but it's the money in it to get married. I want to get married to her, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. What we want. And I don't think money should define what our love is. That's the one thing I don't like about the wedding sort of ceremony. You've got to pay all this type of money out just for one day to prove to God that you love that woman. I've already proved that I love her. I'm here. You know? Yeah. But I think marriages are on the decline now, you know. Not as many people are getting married nowadays. It's gone. It's all changed. The whole world's changing.
I know, but hey, some of us still do it.
Yeah. I'm proud of you for doing it as well. If only I knew, because I know for a fact I would have been there.
Oh, you'd have been.
Could have been your wedding singer.
We didn't have a live mic or anything like that.
Mate.
We just had playing.
I'll bring my battery powered one out. Hey, baby.
After seeing the video of you singing at that pub the other day, I think I've dodged a bullet, so I'm all right.
I bet you've dodged loads of bullets. You get. What are you laughing for? You've dodged real ones.
I'm still here. Yeah, so you came back, worked. How long were you at Tesco's for?
I was only for Christmas, mate. I was only a Christmas job.
So what did you do after that? Obviously, you met Kay there and everything. Yeah. And then what did you do after?
I went to work for DPD.
Doing what? Working
franchise.
In the sorting?
No, driver. I had a franchise, delivering about 128 parcels a day. First 3 months of my life, mate, I tell you what, I was in tears every night. It's taking me like 16, 17 hours to make the deliveries. I didn't know where I was going, didn't know what I was doing. I was just all over the place. Baby on the way, thinking I'm fading as a dad already before she's even arrived. Yeah, there's a few tears shed, mate. A few tears shed. But then it just clicked overnight. Hey?
I bet.
Yeah.
Working 16, 17 hours a day. No, that's enough just to stress anyone out.
Me, mate. The first day, I locked myself in the back of the van with my phone in the front. And I was like, how do I get out of here then? Literally, I was on my first drop. You imagine that to the bosses? I'm stuck.
4 doors down. Let me out. That'd be great.
So
well, you did DPD for a few months, and then you went, no, you know what, this is going to snap me off if I keep.
No. To be fair, mate, after 3 months, it clicked. And I understood, right, postcode orders. I understand the bigger the number, you're on the outside of the town or whatever. The little the number, you're in more city centre. So I started to learn how to get myself around and started to plan. And I started to understand the plan. So I would start off, say, up to Sileby, Barrow upon Soar, come across to Mount Rothley, Mount Sorrel, Quorn, Woodhouse Eve, Shepshed, finish, back down the M1. Finish.
Yeah.
Obviously, that would change if you had before 10s or pre-10s or whatever. So I'd go off and get all the pre-10s done first, then come back and then start again and just basically just do a big loop. But for the first 3 months, I was literally starting on a street and then 5 parcels down or something. I'll be back on that same street I started on. It's this is wasting money here. I'm wasting fuel. So yeah, it was that type of thing that was just grinning me on. I was just like, why am I back here? I've just been here.
Yeah,
so that taught me the basics of route planning, and I taught myself it. Nobody taught me it. That was just down to me wanting to make my days easier, and it did. So instead of finishing at 17 hours in, I was now getting home for about 2 PM, started at 4, so I was doing a 10-hour day. So I literally helped myself save 7 hours a day. And when you're self-employed,
that's massive.
You know, if I'm out there for all hours of the sun, I'm basically on less than minimum wage. But when you can get home quicker, do your job quicker, you're obviously making more by the hour. So yeah, that was DPD, mate.
What made you want to do lorry driving?
I'll be honest with you, mate, I don't know.
Because obviously, you don't know.
It was never the plan. Never the plan.
What was the
plan? MCing. That was the big plan. That was what I was supposed to have done. I've done a few gigs now. I went on stage with one of the D12 guys, the rappers. I forget his name now. I always forget this guy's name. Let me have a look in me book who it was. You'd know him straight away. Well, you might not know. I don't know if you know about rap music, do you?
I mean, I know D12.
So D12, there's a guy in there. What's his name? Out of all of them, it's not even bringing his name up. This is amazing. I'm so sorry about this. I can't think of his name. I'm looking at a picture of him and I still can't think of his name. Begins with an S. I can't think.
Sure.
Swifty McVeigh. That's him, Swifty McVeigh. So I don't know if you can see this, but there's obviously D12. Oh, you see that? This guy.
Yeah.
That guy there. I was on stage with him. Swifty McVeigh.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was on stage with him. I did a song with Wretch Free 2's nephew. And yeah, I did pretty well, mate. I was always in the studio writing, lyrics, singing. Had quite a few music videos out, a few mixtapes out. I was being played on local radio. And yeah, I had to give it up, mate. I had babies. I had to be a dad. I had to become a dad. You know.
Yeah, sadly they come first.
Yeah, it was.
Not even sadly, just they come first.
And that was it. Just give up on my dream and just like, you know what, my dream is now is making sure that they've got everything they need. So I need to obviously get a proper paying job, and that is what I need to do. So it didn't start off with lorry driving. So what happened is, so after DPD, I went into a transport company and I did customer service because I'd already got that background in customer services from previous. I went straight in as that. So what I'll do is I'll talk loads in, I'll deal with customers if anything's running late, where's the driver's kind of thing, that type of thing. And I'd say, yeah, driver's there, ETA's there, so he'll be there as soon as he can. I'll update you if anything else is happening or running late. From there, I went to another transport company, but this transport company was different to the one before. Because the one before was literally just an office. They didn't own their own vehicles. They didn't have their own warehouse. They didn't have trailers or anything. It was literally a call centre for this transport company, if you know what I mean. If you've heard of them, Downtons. They're called Downtons. But yeah, I worked for their sort of call centre. And I left there and I decided to go to another transport company, but this one was more of this had warehouses, had its own truck, fleet, drivers. It was just a proper functioning, like an Eddie Stobart jobby kind of thing. It was massive, right? I had everything. And I says to the boss, teach me everything that there is to know about this industry. I want to know everything. Treat me as like a sponge and I will soak everything up, but you've got to teach me everything I want to know. I said, I'm here to learn, not only just to get paid, but obviously I want to walk away with this knowing I've got the education that I need. And that's exactly what he did. He put people on the case, and it ended up just before I left. I was actually running the place from Friday to Mondays. I had the key holding, so I was opening up, closing up. I had the call phone. I was running Walker's Chris contract, so I was making sure their drivers are coming in. I then went out, got myself a forklift license, and I was offloading those trailers on my own. Nobody else around. Health and safety through the window, but there's me whizzing around on this forklift on my own. But yeah, they just weren't paying enough. They was paying me £22,000 a year to run the place.
Yeah, that's not enough.
And you're taking the phone home with you, so you've got all that stress at night time as well. Because through the night, we had a newborn baby, little Jacob. He was screaming through the night, and you had the other bosses on the phone. Jane, where's this driver going? Where's that driver? I was just like, mate, just fuck off. I've got a baby here. It's teething and all sorts. I've got more things to deal with. You're paying me $22,000 a year. Who do you think I am? Piss off. And put the phone. And that was it, mate. I left. I went, I'm done. Mate, I walked in that place, right, with an abscess out here. My face looked like a bowling ball, mate. Big abscess. Oh, come right down to my neck. This is basically like around this teeth. That's what that's caused from. I've had real bad teeth from my wisdom teeth. And this big... And I'm sat there one Saturday and my boss looks at me. You can see that I'm in pain, Luke. And I say, I'm going to have to go home. I can't do my job. I need to go. Nah, we can't get anyone to cover you, Jay. Just stay here, mate, till 6. Mate, 12 hours in absolute agony. I went like that. And I'm sorry to listeners, but he's the biggest fucking wanker going, mate. Proper prick.
I'd have gone out the door.
Fucking dick.
I'd have just walked. I'd have been like, nah, see you later. It was a
scaremongering thing, mate, because I had 3 children at home. No one had to pay for it. Pay for my babies. I was almost forced. My hand was forced to stay there and put up with this punishment, with this shit. So you go from...
Because you needed them.
Needed the money, mate. So from living with my dad... shit, going to school, racist and shit and bullied, and then into fucking work life, bullied, being made to feel like you can't go. I was in medical agony. Like I was on Facebook. Everyone was just like, what the hell do you mean? Ended up getting it all ripped out at the Circle, Nottingham, private. I had to go private to get it all taken out. Fortunately, I didn't pay out for it. NHS did, but they told me the bill would have been £9,000 if it was me. Yeah, it was a big job. It was all top and bottom, both sides. They had to go. Because when they had come through, they kept cracking and breaking, so they never actually popped out. So they had to cut my gums. They had to cut all my gums to get these things out. But yeah, I left. I left and didn't look back, mate. And then I went to the place where I'm at now, and they put me through my class 2, class 1. I was a transport planner for these guys. I was planning every single driver. Doncaster drivers. I was doing the Irish drivers at the time as well. And I just loved it. I just loved the job. But 2017, obviously, I had my breakdown where I turned the headlights off on the back road and just wanted to die, mate. Just wanted to hit a tree. It's too much pressure. I had so much going on in my head. I was fed up of being walked all over like a doormat. I've got my things in my head. I've got me thinking on a day-to-day basis that my missus deserves better than me. I'm not good enough. My kids deserve better than me. I'm not good enough. I'm too angry. I snap. And it's not when you realise that I'm just a reflection of all the shit that's been given to me and dumped on me over the years, that the minute I'm now giving it back, nobody likes it. And it's like I've went through this all my life kind of thing. But nobody deserves it, especially the ones closest to me. They don't deserve it. It's not... They haven't put me through that shit. I should go back to all those kids at school, knock on their doors today. I'll scare them. But I won't.
I mean, but as the saying goes, you take things out on those you love the most.
And that's what scares me. So this is where we are today, and this is why I'm trying to get the help I need. Reason why I run this podcast. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not perfect. But at least I've acknowledged that there's an issue, and I'm trying to get that help. So yeah. That's about it, Luke, really, where I am.
Done well. You got through all of that in 40 minutes. I'm impressed.
I could talk a lot.
No, that's good. So you've obviously, you've admitted you've got things you want to fix and stuff like that. But, what do you do as not going and seeing therapy and doing all of that? What do you do that's your release?
My release is watching films, playing golf.
Mm-hmm.
Love playing golf. Love a round of golf.
If you mean the driving range, I can do that. That's about
I
it.
love the driving range, and I like playing actual 18-hole courses. I absolutely love it because every day's a school day. You're learning all the time.
Can do par 3 course, full 18 now.
Mate, it's really good.
I don't know. Mainly being, I can use a putter, I can use the wedges and the irons. I cannot use a wood or a driver to save my life. If I try to hit one with a wood or a driver straight, it'll go there.
That can be fixed in seconds.
Yeah, but I've tried that, and then it's gone over there.
You haven't tried it with me. You haven't tried it with me. I promise you, I could have you driving like a hero.
Not with your clubs, you couldn't, because I'd be like bent right over like this.
Have you not seen Golf Life? And you got Peter Crouch playing with the full-size golf clubs, but they're not like toys. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've seen
mate.
I'm going to say, I'm not sure I'd use your clubs that well, being 6'1" and all.
But I'm 5'11". You're only 2 inches bigger than me.
Quite
That's
a lot, mate.
Nothing. Come on. Nothing, brother.
It's like that. It's
No.
quite what? It'd be like using a 5-year-old set of clubs, mate. I just wouldn't know what to do.
You see my younger brother? He's 6'5".
Yeah.
Proper big. I've got a mate, Ryan. He's 6'7".
No, you see, that's not a person. That's a giant.
He is a giant. He's a big, friendly giant. I think my other mate's about 6'6", 6'7" as well. Yeah. Oh, right. Anyway.
But yeah, when I come, we'll have to try some golf.
Yeah, I do love golf.
You can try.
No, I love golf. I do love golf. Other than that, this podcast is a massive release. I get to speak to people, listen to the.
I get that, but it's not a switch off.
No, it's not. But it's me talking.
Exactly.
And it's them talking, and talking really, really helps.
It does, but when you're trying to just switch off, you want something that's not related.
Oh, yes, that's different. But for me, I enjoy the Fridays when I record a podcast. I enjoy listening to what the guests have to say because they're talking about their problems and their issues. So it gives me that kind of like, right, okay. And it makes me realise that we're not the only ones in this world that are suffering. There is so many people around us that are also suffering.
There's so many more as well that just don't say anything.
So there is that. And a lot of times, I'll be honest with you, Luke, I like watching reels on Facebook and I like watching all the little silly clips and that, and I can stay on them for hours and hours and hours.
I do that on TikTok. Just sit there scrolling.
There's something about it, isn't it? It's just like, I like this. But yeah, that's about it, really.
To be fair, my favourites are watching Americans do geography.
Give me an example.
Have you never seen? Literally, when we get off of this, go on YouTube and literally type Americans doing geography. There's a guy that will hold a map up to an American and say, "Can you point out South Africa?" And he points out somewhere like Peru. You're like, "That's South Africa." He's like, "Are you sure?" And like, yeah, 100%. Like,
yeah.
You've got a whole ocean.
That can't be all Americans, surely.
No, not all, but some of them, and it's just like I'm just like, oh my days, it's just hilarious. Good.
I'll tell you what I do like watching Hamilton. You watched Hamilton on Disney Plus?
It's the musical, isn't it?
About the American Revolution. You watched it?
No. Not because I've just never watched it.
Me and Kay actually went down to West End in London and watched it live on stage as well because I'm a big fan of it. I loved it.
Yeah, the last thing I went to London and watched at West End was Lion King.
Watch that. I've not watched it yet. I want to take my daughter.
God.
Yeah, I want to take my daughter to watch that because me and her love Lion King. But yeah, that's about it really, mate, on trying to control the things that I do. I do like going for a run. I obviously like going gym because that releases endorphins and also has the health benefits as well to kick. So it just makes you feel better, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, if I'm being honest with you, well, 9 times out of 10, this is what I do on a day-to-day basis anyways, meditate. And I'll just literally lose myself in this zone out, and just try and be in the present. Try to be in the present. Try and keep my mind occupied. It's a little bit like this exam thing that I'm doing at the moment. I've passed 3 parts now. I'm 75% passed. So I've passed all 3 modules I've put in. I've got 5 questions left to do to pass the full thing. But I'm learning so much about prevention of self-harm and suicide and all of that. So we're talking about at the minute campaigns, why campaigns work, what's more effective in this campaigns of suicide to prevent it, and all this kind of thing. So there's like they were saying, like, you think of an example, and I thought, I would love to have a campaign where it's called, come on mate, let's have a chat. That would be the actual headline. Let's have a chat, mate. And the way I've styled it is almost like having a chat with your mate down the pub. That's how I want it. That calmness, because a lot of the campaigns I see around, I don't think they're effective enough. Because if they were, would there still be 76%, 75%, 76% of male suicides? No, it's too high. It's too high.
Honestly, I know exactly where you're going and what you're saying, but you've got to take into the fact that most men our age or older were brought up in the era of
don't talk.
You don't say anything up, you don't talk about it. So you're fighting that stigma straight away.
Yeah, but your wife, you have a look at some of the types of campaigns that are out at the moment, Start Talking, or the Samaritans, or whatever it is, but whatever one that they've got running at the moment, whichever charity's got one running, if you have a look at their terminology on it, a lot of the time, although we need blunt, but it's men, and I'm not getting at women here or anything, I'm not a sexist person, I'm not getting at that, but in the suicide rates, it's men that are more likely to die by suicide than females. So a lot of this messaging realistically needs to be aimed at men. And it's got to come across in a way. It's got to be shown in a way. What are most men doing? Let's face it. Where would you want to see those advertised? I'd want them advertised in male sort of places, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you
Boys'
can just
toilets.
Nowadays you could literally. Wouldn't even need to go that far. You can use social media as the biggest tool
out there. You put them on
there.
them reels that me and you watch. You've just said yourself on TikTok, you're scrolling through. I do it. I know for a fact loads of people do it.
Yeah.
But it's an hard one. Obviously, I don't know the answer. The best thing we can do is to speak about it. Just to speak about it and to speak to other people about it and let them know, look, it's okay to talk about suicide. It's okay to point it out. Don't be scared to approach somebody that you think may be thinking of doing that. Go up to them and speak to them. And be blunt, straight out. Are you thinking of committing suicide like that? Are you? Well, don't use the word commit, obviously, because that means crime or you're doing a bad deed, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, Luke, because you're a bit too quick on me, I'm going to ask you some questions, mate.
Sorry, no English.
I want you to give me an example of a day in the life of a Marine.
Wake up about 5 a.m. or be woken up. Either or.
Okay, how you woken up?
3 SE. Well, normally, it depends where you are. If you're in basic training, normally it's by someone walking in and going, get up, get out of bed, get dressed, get showered, blah, blah, blah. If you've passed that first initial month or so, then you get split up into a group of 4 and you're in your own room and you're reliant on yourself being up and ready for the time. So, yeah, you'd normally get up, shower, shave, have everything ready in your room, make your bed, make sure everything's away, neat, tidy, locked. Get down to the mess hall, get your breakfast in you, get back to your room, get changed for whatever's next, drill, PT, whatever you've got to do. If you've got free time, it's normally spent ironing, folding, polishing, cleaning, stripping. Get to lunch, finish that, then it's yet again more projects, either firing range or practices or this, that, or another, assault courses, you name it. And then evening, you'll have your meal, and then the evening, unless you've got stuff to do, you're pretty much down to you. You can go down the pub that's on site, or you can sit there and do whatever you've got to do in your room, or vice versa. If you're clever, you split your duties between the four of you and go from there.
Sweet. And so what type of nearly lost everything then, mate.
Because you're balancing out five.
I know I am. Yeah, I need to get one of these microphone holders, I think. So what's your favourite weapon and why? Doesn't have to be a gun.
It's not. Honestly, it's not even a weapon. I'd say voice.
I like that.
Because it can do anything you want it to do. You can come across however you want to come across. You want to come across angry, sad, sympathetic, anything you want. And it's the easiest thing to use.
That is literally the number one bit of arsenal that you would say. But then again, you've got to know how to use your voice as well in the right way.
Of course you do, but that comes with life experience.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. So, what sort of conversations are you having down the pub after a normal day compared to a day where you've had it really heavy? You've had a really heavy day.
Define heavy day.
Call from home. Or a friend of yours has found out they've lost somebody in their life and you need to console them and comfort them. That kind.
If it's me, locking myself away just to deal with it in my own way. If it's a mate, sit there, talk to him if he wants to talk. If not, just sit there and chill with him. If he doesn't want to talk, he doesn't have to talk. Just sit there and have a beer.
Yeah.
Versus just a normal day. Normal day would be probably when you go out and go downtown and you talk, absolute whatever the hell you want to talk about. Oh, that waitress is fit. Oh, she's all right, isn't she? Blah, blah, blah. And just drink and then go back to the barracks or hotel, wherever you're staying, and repeat. As long as you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed by 5 a.m. Monday morning, you're game.
It's one of them, isn't it? So what would you say the worst thing that you've ever seen whilst in the Marines, whether that's, in a war zone kind of thing, in that sort of scenario? What is the worst thing that sort of took you out of your own head thinking, shit, this is actually real, this is going on? That kind of moment in your life where it's so different to real life, it's alien.
Probably, change of subject, but on topic. How old are your kids?
Teenagers.
Right, seeing people younger than that holding a weapon, pointing at you.
Holy shit! What's going through your mind and your body there?
Nothing.
Serious?
What are you going to think?
I want to punch that little shit in the face. That's what I'll be thinking.
No. No. Could be a toy.
Yeah, I suppose. If they're surrounded by it, they might think they're playing like Daddy and Mummy or whatever.
What do you do? What do you think? Nothing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's a bit like that guy in American Sniper, isn't it? When he's got the sniper out and there's that kid who's running with that Russian bomb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, he made the right decision in that film, didn't he? That's based on a true story, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Wow. And what would you say is your most happiest memory of being in the Marines?
Oh, okay. Coming home.
Coming home?
It's a relief, like a de-stress, because you've come back.
What about your boys? Your boys in arms? I mean, I get it. I do get
Honestly,
it. Going home will be the
yeah.
biggest, happiest thing. But I'd always... Does it ever get like holiday where you're like, I don't want to go home. I just want to stay. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is it that great with all your mates around? Because you're surrounded by friends and that lot.
Twist it another way. Okay. You're at work Monday to Friday when you was in a call centre, basically, yeah? Not a call centre, but you know what I mean. How often would you sit there and go, wish I was at work?
Oh yeah, never. Let me get out of here quick as possible.
Regardless of how much of banter and everything.
Literally, mate, I'm watching that clock minutes before I'm in.
Pocket, job done, ready to go.
Banger's already rolled. You're still inside, Jay. What are you doing? I'm home, mate. I'm on holiday now. Flying away, small, as you used to do. You remember that at work? Where are you tomorrow? Corfu.
Yeah. So what are you doing tomorrow, mate?
See you later, mate. Have a good day. And all that. Send you a postcard. What was that? Why did we used to send people postcards? It never arrived until you got back.
It did, but 2 weeks after you got home. Yeah.
Well, we already know about that story, Jermaine. You told us that the other night. Yeah. Just do it.
Just be happy I took the time to send you one.
Exactly. Right, so if you can see me now, I'm just pulling up some questions for you.
God, you actually sat down and...
Mate, I do a lot of research for this. Like I say, this is my baby, and I want it to do well. Obviously, I want it to do well. I want people to get involved. I want people to open up about their problems, whether you're male or female. I want people to know that this is a platform that they can talk. They can speak about anything they want to speak about, and it will be a non-judgment, non-bias, none of that. I'm not here to judge you as a person. Vice versa, I don't expect people to be watching this to be judging me or the guests that are on. It's not our jobs to judge.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us about a journey with mental health and how it's impacted your life? So if you're thinking back about the prison here, I'm imagining, or even with Pops.
No. So Dad's one was not easier, but I could deal with that better.
Yeah.
Due to, obviously, the fact he went how he went. I'd say, the prison one, obviously, because don't get me wrong, I mean, they said, I'm fine, I can go back to work and everything else. The first time I was sat in a different workshop from that one, and I heard what the router turn on, which is what I did one of the lads' fingers, different bit, but I heard it kick on a bit of wood. I wasn't even in that shop, but I knew exactly what had happened. That bit of wood had kicked, and I heard that noise. I literally cold sweat straight away. I just went white, cold sweat, and I was like, whew. I just turned to my mate who was there and went, I'm going inside 5 minutes. And I went, I can't hear anything, chilled for 5 minutes, and came back in, and I was like, no, I went and spoke to my boss and said, look, appreciate you putting me here. Can you put me in a shop for a little bit further away from woodwork? And he was like, yeah, we'll move you. But I mean, don't worry, I hear it now because I'm next door to it now, and I'll hear it now, and I'm like, I'm okay. Yeah. But for the first weeks, whenever I'd hear it, I'd be like deep breaths. I'd be like, count to 10, or obviously pre-speaking with the people on occupational health massively helped and made me realise, I can get through it. But obviously, just hearing that noise just took you straight back. Fingertip missing, blood bits up the wall, bits on the machine, bits on the... Literally, as soon as I heard that noise, it was like, bang, gone straight back. Basically, almost like kind of not the same as, because it's far worse, but kind of like a lighter version of PTSD.
Just about to say, PTSD.
Yeah.
PTSD can happen to most of us, mate. Doesn't have to be in a war zone. Doesn't have to be in the army. It's just a post-traumatic stress disorder. It could even be something as little as some abuse at home. growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was about to say, yeah, I imagine you perhaps did suffer with a bit of PTSD there, especially with listening to that. If you're still getting that thing, personally or honestly, if you were to hear that Monday morning happen again, would you be okay?
If I hear that noise again, I'll be fine
If
now.
you heard it grab the finger, you'd be.
If I hear it hit that bit of wood and everything else, yeah, I'm fine now. I've heard it numerous times since, and I'm all right.
Yeah, so you're okay.
But just the first few weeks being back after being off and away were the ones that
triggered it.
Proper. I didn't think so. That first one rocked me.
Yeah, I can imagine. Just hearing that against another human being as well, it's send me into shockwaves, mate. I wouldn't have been able to cope with it.
Yeah, the other one was a table saw, and it's a table saw. You don't really tell much difference between the noise. The table saw just whirs as it spins, and it's just going to cut through anything. So
yeah,
but with a router, yeah, you just heard it click. That was it. Because obviously, when the wood clicks, you hear it and change of direction.
Oh my god!
Yeah. And he was wearing a glove, which made it 10 times better for him.
No. I would have been sick. I think I would have thrown up all over the place. What else have we got here? I need to make sure I'm giving you the right one, because I have loads of these questions that I've wrote down every time I'm out at work or whatever. I would compile a list. Compile a little list of questions, and now I've got so many questions. But now it's obviously about fitting it into the person I'm speaking to.
Well, we can just answer them all. Go for it. It could be fun.
Too many. Literally, if you can see this, there is literally way too many, bruv. Your face.
I'm game if you are. Let's go.
All right, here's a question for you, mate. And this one was actually wrote because I joke about myself. I put myself down in many, many situations. I'm always slagging myself off and making fun and making light of things because I'm worried about real questions. So I make fun of myself so nobody else can. I take away that power.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, how to talk to someone who jokes about mental illness? Obviously, I'm not joking about mental illness. I'm joking about myself. Mm-hmm. But how would you talk to somebody who jokes about mental illnesses? So if there's some ignorant person in your office and they're making fun of somebody with a mental illness, but how do you deal with that? How do you speak to that person? If you even speak to them at all.
Person that's making fun of them, I'd kick them out. They'd be gone. No questions asked. Hands down, straight away out the door. And then the other person, it's just a case, I'd sit down and talk to them, and if they're trying to still make laugh and jokes about it, I'd bring up this annoying little statistic that most people that laugh and joke about mental health issues and stuff like that, 99% of the time are thinking about actually doing it or have done it, and they are just trying to hide it from the people. And shut my door if they want to talk, make them a cuppa, have a chat, and go from there. If they want me to carry on with it, there's always, especially in the prison, we can put them in touch with the mental health team in there. We've got therapists in there. We've got everything that if they want it, we can push them through for it. And, a lot of the time they'll say, yeah, let's do that. Or they'll say, oh, you know what? I don't want to talk to them. I've tried it before. Can we just talk? And I'll do that. And I will personally go to the mental health team and say, look, this is what's going on. What route should I go down? And I'll get advice from them. I'll make notes and everything else. And unbeknown to them, I will talk to them because obviously they're trained and obviously they can look over the notes and say, look, this is what's been said. This is what's happening. I don't believe they're a threat to themselves. I don't believe they're doing this, that, and they'll just give me the right advice to go down. And a lot of the time it will get to the point where that person I'm talking to will say, okay, I'll go and talk to these people. Or we have a Samaritan's phone as well on every single wing. So if they are struggling, they can ring Samaritans and just talk to them. But yeah, a lot of the time it's just a case of that initial first contact.
Just making sure everything's been done right, yeah. And the person making fun, obviously, being jovial about it or whatever, they need to understand that
they're gone.
It's not something to joke about.
Nope, they're gone straight out the way, out the door.
Fair play. So since your time in prison and working in the prison sector, what would you say opened your eyes the most about prison life that you perhaps didn't realise until you were working there? What was the biggest eye-opener for you?
Honestly, it's not even the prisoner side of it. It's more to do with the lack of funding or staffing from our side. I mean, if you speak to older prisoners that have been in and out of prison their whole life and they're like 50, 60, they'll turn around and say, mate, the first few times I came to prison, compared to it now, it was fantastic. And you're like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, 90% of the officers would have been ex-police, ex-military, ex-something. And if they turned around to you and said, no, you're not getting that, you knew exactly where you stood. It's like, whereas nowadays, you can ask someone to do something, they'll say, yeah, I'll get it done. And you'll go back to them 3 days later and they've not even touched it and they've forgot exactly what you asked for. It's like, it's ridiculous now. It's like, I'd say the biggest opener for me is the amount of staff there are hiring that have got no people skills or life experience, and yet they're being put into a situation where they're caring for other people and have to do things for other people that they can't do because it's out of the prisoner's purview. So you've got to make that phone call to a different department because they can't. Yeah. We've had prisoners that are coming to work that have been let down by their wing staff. And the phone call, I've made a few phone calls and they take seconds. And you're like, well, I've done that. Yeah, it's all sorted. And you're like, what? I've been asking for 2 weeks.
Lackadaisical.
So yeah, biggest eye opener is not necessarily lack of staff, but lack of experience.
So that's one of the key factors. So what would you say to a lot of films that you see out there that involve prison? There's a lot of corruption within the prison guards and prison mates where some women will perhaps sleep with some of the inmates. Some of them will bring drugs in. Is that reality or is that just TV?
No, it's a reality. Sad as it is, it is a reality.
What causes that, do you think? Is there a scare factor there for some of the prison officers and watching the backs on the outside?
No, so honestly, I'd say so. I mean, I can use examples from our prison because one, they're documented in newspapers and stuff like that. So it's not like I'm not doing anything I shouldn't. We've got people that, so not all women. So we'll say, for example, a woman goes into the prison and the prisoners know what to look for, so to speak, for someone that's not confident in themselves and stuff like that. So every day they'll say, oh, you're right, miss. Oh, you've done something to your hair. Oh, nice earrings, or this, that, and the other. Just, slowly chipping in.
Grooming.
Until, yeah, so to speak, grooming them in or whatever, however you want to say it. And slowly working their way in and then they'll get to a point where it will be, they'll get that door open for them, not like an actual, like an emotional or a physical door where she lets him in. And from that point on, he'll keep going, and then eventually she'll do something, kiss him or sleep with him or something like that. But it's just vulnerability. Yeah. And for the drugs, it'll be potentially a case of, the prisoners have overheard, say me and you were officers on the wing and we're talking, and turn to you and say, oh, mate, how's things going? And you turn around and go, oh, mate, everything's all right. I'm just, I'm really struggling financially at the minute. And a prisoner could come up to you and goes, oh, hey, Gov, I heard you the other day chatting with Luke and you said you were struggling. I could give you $5,000 if you can bring in 2-3 mobile phones for me. Maybe more phones, but, it's just an example. And all of a sudden, you bring in 3 phones, you get $5,000 in cash. You're a bit better off, but you've brought in 3 phones. He's already got you. That's it. So the minute you turn around and say no, he blows a whistle. You're done.
Yeah. So is it really worth the £5,000? Plus, you've got to try and tell the banks as well where that come from in the first place. Is it taxable or not? Imagine that's quite odd unless you keep it in cash.
What is it? You get $8,000 that you can put in your bank without question.
Oh, right, okay, I never knew that.
Yeah, so obviously you could make $8,000. So, well, think about it. You sell your car. Your car sells for 7.5. You can put that in the bank. If it flags up and the taxman comes to you, it might not flag, and they go, "Where'd you get that from?" Sold my car, and you just job done. They go, "Oh, okay, cool." But irregular payments into your bank in cash, it can all be flagged up by the bank.
Wow.
So it's just vulnerability.
So it's quite hard then
Saying things
for the prison officers. So what would you say? Well, what could we do? Not we, but what could the government do in terms of making the prison a lot better for not just the prisoners, but for the prison officers, the ones that are working there? So you've already highlighted the education experience that's needed to work the floors to be able to help rehabilitate some of these people. Would you say pay is a factor? Because I hear a lot of people striking on the trains or junior doctors, but I don't really hear about the prison officers ever going on strike or ever talking about their pay. Is that a real factor there, or is it not?
We're not allowed to. Well, prison officers aren't allowed to go on strike.
So you literally have to just put up and shut up kind of thing.
I mean, don't remember if they've got a union, but they can't go on strike because they have a duty of care. So think about it, if they all went on strike, who's coming to prison to feed?
Well, I didn't know if you'd have like part strike, if you know what I mean. Where like 50% of your workforce will just sort of just stand outside with little pickets or whatever.
So I think a few of them. I mean, yeah, but the problem with that is then half are still working, so it wouldn't really be a strike.
No. So what's the sort of general chit-chat that's going around at the moment? What's the morale like at the moment for prison life, would you say, for the officers?
I mean, at the minute, it's probably a bit higher because obviously everyone just got a pay rise from obviously all the talks that went on and everything else at the beginning of the year, and they agreed a pay rise and that. So at the minute, I imagine everyone's quite high. So they're quite happy with everything at the moment. But it's always going to be money based.
Yeah.
Any issues coming into the prison for staff, it's always going to be money based because you've got to think, is it worth it? Is it not? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you are putting your life on the line. You're walking into a prison where you have to deal with, I think it's 3%. The 3% of people that are the most violent or corrupt or whatever. And you, not you, but, but you wouldn't necessarily deal with that on a day-to-day basis, whereas anyone that works in a prison works with that all day, every day.
Well, yeah, it's one of them things, isn't it? If a prisoner can get hold of another prisoner with a shiv, as they like to call it, then what's to stop them from getting to a prison guard with a shiv, knife point, fought across the neck, wherever. Yeah. So it is a vulnerable position to be in. You are, practically risking your life on a day-to-day basis as you were in a war zone. So it's very similar to that. Mm-hmm. So I commend you for what you've done for the country and for what you're doing right now in the prison office. You've turned out to be a wonderful, wonderful human being. I'm very proud to have known you from all them times of my life growing up as well. And there's a prison around the corner from me, mate. You should just apply and we can be together again.
I'm not going to lie, it's a bit of a commute.
It is, that's why you sell up. You make a killing down there. What are you on about? You'll triple your money, mate.
You're mad. I've got a nice house down there. I ain't moving anytime soon.
Look at you. Right, Luke, I think for this week we should end it there. It's been a wonderful chat with you. The role reversal. Yeah. Well done on the questions. Appreciate that. Hopefully all the listeners out there enjoyed that as well. Something different, wasn't it? So that's the way we did it. But yeah, it's getting up to 8 o'clock now, and it's cheesy nacho time. Nice. So yeah, I'm going to watch a film with the kids. I'm going to put Disney on or something like that. I'm going to sit down and watch something.
Cheesy nachos, no gym for a week. Can't wait to see how sore you are Monday.
I did have a look actually because I was really upset. And it was all because of the way I was feeling after this CBT session. I felt like I just can't go gym. So I've done research, and I kept researching it all week, Luke. How long off gym do you start to lose gains? Because I was scared about losing my gains. And it says you've got a good 4 to 6 weeks. That's literally being in bed, not moving. Because I'm still moving.
You've got...
Yeah, so I'm having just a week off. But next week I am here, but the week after I'm on holiday. I can't wait. I'm on a holiday. Yeah.
Where are you going?
Just local seaside. Obviously, I'll tell you off air. But
yeah,
but
yeah, that's fine. I'll give you a ring tomorrow.
Yeah, yes, you can do, mate. Yeah, you can. It's Sunday, isn't it? So we ain't got no work tomorrow. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on this special episode with me and Luke, where Luke became the interviewer. Obviously, I needed a drink to get me through this one because it's a lot of memories up in there, guys. Obviously, I didn't really speak about anything bad, though, really, did I? I didn't really go into too much depth.
Well, I didn't
yeah, I don't want to go that deep. I thought it'd be best just to chat how we are as people, where we've gone to and stuff like that. But yeah, you've had a much more adventurous life than me, I'll tell you that. Going out, travelling the world, being a Marine and then in the prison life as well. 2 different routes, but we're both here, Luke. We're both safe. We're not been in trouble with the law. We're not dead. We've not done too bad, mate, have we, really? We survived. We're still here.
Exactly. Okay.
Anyway, Luke, I'm going to give you one of them. Salute you, mate. What's it actually for? What's that mean?
Just acknowledging their rank. Just saying, it's just an acknowledgement of that they outrank you and that you're respecting that they've worked their way to where they are.
Fair play. Salute, as they do with drinks. Right, guys, we're going to see you all next week when we've got another guest, especially for you guys. So stay tuned. Please do subscribe to this YouTube channel. It's brand new. You can see this now on Spotify as well because the video now works on Spotify. So if you are listening to it on Spotify, hello. Just subscribe, leave a review. Please rate. It does help the podcast grow because podcasts are it's not like YouTube podcast. The podcast sort of circuit is all to do with word of mouth. It's about sharing the link, sharing the story, and then it will grow. And then the algorithms will pick it up and it will become wider, known to bigger audiences around. So please do continue to do that. Please do rate, review, and subscribe. Until then, see you next week. Thanks, guys, for joining me on this week's episode with me and Luke. If you're to contact me or get in touch with me, shall I say, then hit me up at Facebook at My Life, My Journey Podcast, or on Instagram at MyLife_My Journey Podcast. We're now on YouTube and also on all of the major podcasting platforms. So please do get in touch, rate, review, and subscribe. Until then, see you all next week.